Hello and welcome back to another video here in the Lego room. I hope you are well. Today we're going to go over the very exciting leaks that have come out for Lego Harry Potter in the summer of 2025. There has been a whole host of sets that have been announced or certainly leaked that are coming out on June the 1st, 2025. We're going to take a little look at them. Obviously we've got no images for these just yet. We've simply got the box number and the title of the box, along with a little bit of sort of speculation in there about what we could see in the sets. Drop a like on the video before we get started, and I'm sure there'll be something that you like on this list. Let's dive right into it, starting with the first set that I saw leaked a little while ago, which was the Aunt Marge's Visit, set number 76451, and this set is kind of open to speculation. It's out on June the 1st. It is $89.99 US dollars. It'll be at that £80 mark here in the UK. Absolutely no idea what this set could hold. We don't have a piece count for this set, but I imagine we'll get some kind of inflated version of Aunt Marge in there as well. I don't know if it'll be connective in any way to any previous or upcoming Privet Drive sets that we've seen. That would be quite nice. Let's just wait and see what this set is. This is the kind of set I don't have a ton of information about, other than the title and the number there along with the price. Let's dive into something maybe a little bit more interesting. Certainly for me, we've got the Hogwarts Castle main tower. Another part of, you might be able to see it up there, the Hogwarts connective castle tissue there. The Hogwarts Castle main tower, set number 76454, is coming out on June the 1st. This will come in at $250 US. That'll probably price at about the £220 mark here in the UK. Completely unconfirmed. I imagine it will be even bigger than the Great Hall set, naturally. There is no piece count for that yet, but that is something that is very exciting. Something that I kind of anticipated happening, given that we've had the Great Hall this year, and of course over the next 2 or 3 years we'll be looking to complete our Hogwarts structure. Certainly I will be personally, so that's one I'm very excited for. It may be a day one purchase, it may not, but it'll definitely be one that I grab at some point in 2025. Another set that I'll be definitely grabbing, and probably on day one, is the Quality Quidditch Supplies and Ice Cream. This is set number 76452. That's set number 76452. Again, a June 1st release, $99 US. It'll come in at 90 UK pounds mark there. The only thing that I know about this is, of course, it will continue. The other thing you can see behind my head there, which is the Diagon Alley Play Scale sort of range that we've been creating over the last year or two, and this is another one to go in that collection, probably go somewhere in between the sets that we've got there at the moment. It'll, of course, it's the shop that you'll have seen the Nimbus 2000 in. If you're not familiar from the Philosopher's Stone, there will be some kind of ice cream stand or miniature shop next to it, I imagine, from the title of this set leak. One that I'm excited for, purely because I am building my Diagon Alley slowly, and further confirmation that I probably won't be buying the micro scale Diagon Alley coming out on January the 1st. And I've done a buyer's guide for that. I'm not entirely sure whether this video will be out before it or after it, but stay tuned on the channel. Make sure you're following or subscribed so you don't miss any of the Harry Potter announcements, and indeed that January buyer's guide that we've got coming just before the new year for all of the Lego Harry Potter sets that are coming out on January the 1st. Let's move on to the next set, and this is a very exciting set, and one that Mrs. Bricker was excited about as well. It's a Harry Potter book nook, and if you've never heard what that is before, it is essentially book ends that you'd have on a bookshelf. So it is a sort of end of either side of a bookshelf, and you can put books in the middle of it. I'll try and put some kind of imagery on screen in case I'm not explaining what this is very well, but it is essentially bookends on either side, and I imagine, if I had to guess, that it will be some kind of Hogwarts Express on either side. That is a pure guess based on speculation. I think there's a general consensus from what I've seen online that people think it would probably be a Hogwarts Express. There's definitely been a Hogwarts Express book nook done before by another company. I'll try and put the images online. I think that is kind of what it might look like. It could, of course, be two halves of Hogwarts, it could be two halves of Diagon Alley, it could be anything, but I think it makes sense for it to be a Hogwarts Express. That set comes in at $99 US. That's $89.99 here in the UK. Quite expensive. One that I'll probably end up getting. I know Mrs. Bricker will probably want us to grab hold of that, so that is something that we'll probably have license to get, even at a slightly more expensive price bracket. The next setup is a fantastic looking set, and it's one that has been attempted before, and it is the Monster Book of Monsters, set number 76449. This will be a replica book of the Monster Book of Monsters, and hopefully be slightly bigger than the previous books we've seen of the you can just see them as I move my head there, of all the different classrooms. This should certainly be bigger, as it's $60 US, £50 here in the UK, so I'm certainly hoping that that will be a fair size. I would say at least hopefully iPad size. That would be quite nice. I think anything smaller than a mini iPad would be quite disappointing. I say that, of course, because I've got all the stuff here on my iPad, so that is I'm looking at this thinking that would be quite a decent size, certainly if it was a big iPad size. I feel like I've said iPad far too much now. Let's move on to the next set, which is another set that we've technically seen before. Slightly disappointing we're seeing some of these reuse sets. We're seeing Dumbledore's Phoenix, and this is set number 76448. This is only going to cost $20 US, so it's of course not going to be as big as the previous Phoenix that we've seen. $20 US, it'll come in at $17.99 mark here in the UK, which is of course the same price point that we saw Hedwig at for Pivot Drive this year, which means it's probably not going to be a huge build. It sort of goes in that slightly smaller build. I quite like it at that size. It makes a good gift at that kind of price point, and it means it probably won't be too obtuse. I've no real need for a giant Phoenix hovering above my head in these videos, so that will be one that I'll look to potentially pick up at that $17.99 price point. The final set is the Herbology class, and people were really in love with these figures. I think this set is one of the more expensive sets of those book collection, the Herbology, because of the minifigures, because of the way those minifigures are done. I'm certainly hoping we see those sort of all brown, all beige sort of colour uniforms in that particular set. I'm also hoping we see a Madam Sprout as well. It looks to me as though it says Hogwarts Castle Herbology class, which means it will be integratable with the Hogwarts connective system that we are currently in the middle of building. And I don't know which part obviously that will go into, but it is listed as part of the Hogwarts Castle, so it will be able to connect to a part of the Hogwarts Castle that we are building. That set comes in at $60 US, which means again it'll be at that 50 Great British pounds mark, and we'll just have to see what the piece count is for that. If it's a 300 piece set, it's obviously going to be very good value at all. If it is, of course, like the sort of Quidditch practice 650 pieces in that bigger piece sort of bracket, then of course it will probably be fantastic value. But I imagine it'll be a similar size to that potions class that we saw this year. They all seem to take on a similar structure by which you can integrate them into the building, so I imagine it'll be in a similar size to the potions class, but it certainly looks as though it might be slightly more expensive. So they are the initial leaks. They're the initial things that we are supposedly getting on June the 1st, 2025. And if that changes, I will do a video talking about what the new information is. I always try to correct anything that doesn't come out as 100% accurate. I also sometimes leave it a little while before I do videos like this. Some of this information has surfaced within the last week or so, and I've left it a little bit of time just to see what actually settles down as truth, and it looks as though these are sets that we'll definitely be getting in the summer of 2025. If there's one that you're in particular looking forward to, do drop it down in the comments below. Stay tuned on the channel because we've got a ton of Lego Harry Potter stuff still coming up in this space. including as well the January Buyer's Guide, which will be released before the new year. And make sure you stay tuned, because there's a ton of Lego Harry Potter stuff coming in the new year on the channel in this space. Thank you so much for watching. If you've watched up until this point, it's sincerely appreciated. I hope you have a wonderful and a nerdy week, and I'll see you in the very next video. Bye.